What's going on, everybody? It's your boy itz-beez-da trackstar, and welcome back to another free plugin video. So today, just by the title say, we're doing a mastering pack. So we have an EQ, we have a compressor, and we also have a limiter, I believe. These plugins were not designed specific for mastering, but they really shine in a mastering environment, and I'm just going to show you a few examples of why I say that. So let's go ahead and load them up. Okay, so first we have the unfortunately I will not be butchering this name. So we're gonna call it, for example, the LKJB. It's an EQ. It's based off of the Moog EQ, and to show you what the Moog EQ looks like, it is this beautiful little plugin right here. Let's go Plugin Alliance, Moog EQ4. So this is the Moog EQ sampled by Plugin Alliance. UAD also has a version of it, but this is the Plugin Alliance version of the Moog EQ. I know another company has a version of this EQ as well. I cannot think of it right off the top of my head, but if I come across that during the rest of the video, then I will certainly brush on that topic. So let's compare the Moog or the Plugin Alliance version of this EQ to the LKJB. So first, let's solo out this is the Moog EQ. So the one specifically good feature about the Moog EQ is it has this ear band, right? So if you put this to 20 and crank this yellow knob right here, you can listen to what the ear band does. The tempo for this track is 78, so let's set that so we can have a little bit of sync going on. So just listen to the brightness of the track when we play it with the Moog EQ. You know what I mean? Very good, very clean. A little bit too much, but we are over exaggerating it. So let's try that same exact thing with the LKJB. So let's go back to 20 and then let's crank it all the way up. I mean, fine. It's not as good quality, but this plugin here costs about $150 and this one is free. But for a free plugin, it is actually good. It's not to be exaggerated like how I'm exaggerating it here. So let's now go into more specifics, right? So let's switch this on. Let's go and switch it on to mastering. So what this does, I believe, is it enables these knobs to be stepped. And I mean by stepped, whenever you have a mastering type of plugin, right, or mastering hardware, these knobs will not be freely moving. It's because mastering is a very precise thing, so you want to be able to recall any changes that you made. So these knobs typically in a mastering setup will not be moving as freely as you see it going around like that. You know, in a mastering setup, it'd be stepped, so you just pull it and it just click and go to every knob. So let's engage the mastering. I'm a fan of analog, so let's turn on a little bit of the analog, and then we'll set it exactly as the regular Moog EQ. So we're just going to use the Moog EQ and select some frequencies, some settings that sound good with the track currently, and then we are going to try to replicate that very thing on the free version of it and see if it is a comparable free plugin, which I know it is, but let's just test it out. This is actually the first time I'm going to use it. I watched a bunch of videos on it, so that's how I know how it functions. So let's set that up and do that. So let's reset that as well. All right, so first thing I can hear, the track, like I said, is a little bit crowded, not really crowded, but it lacks a little bit of sheen, a little bit of polish, some ear. So we are going to use this frequency at 20, and then we are going to add a little bit of ear to it. Okay, that sounds good to me, like that. Let's now try and scoop out a little bit of the bass. So let's take out about a dB of bass. Also, let's remove a little bit of the high mids. Perfect. And let's add a little bit of the mid-range. Okay, so I really like how that sound. Really like how that sounds. So now let's try and replicate that the very setting on the free version of this. So what we did was we take out a dB of bass. So there we go, -1. Then we didn't touch the green. Mid-range, we boosted that by a dB, so we won't go too far around. This is a dB. The orange, we use that to take out a half a dB. Unfortunately, okay, so I can minus 0.5. Let's pretty much put it back at 0. So let's take out a dB then, fuck it. And then the yellow knob, we were at 20 and we boosted that by 4 dBs. Cool. So let's add some here and we'll boost by 4 dB. So now let's flip between the two and you let me know if you can tell the difference. This is the Mag EQ. Absolutely the same thing. In my opinion, you might think otherwise. I couldn't really hear any differences in terms of the cuts and boosts that we made. Just replicate it exactly as is. So in my opinion, it's a very good free VST. If you want to put it that way, it's a very, very good free VST. So let's move on from that. Let's go into the limiter. Okay, so that's without compression and all of that. So if we break this down really, really quick so you can get a better understanding, we have a compressor, we have a peak limiter, we have a high pass limiter, or a high frequency limiter, we have a clipper, and we have a protection circuit on the output, right? So it's a little bit of a tricky plugin. I'm not going to explain every single thing about it. Pretty much going to give you a general overview. It's a very good, once again, free plugin. Now, it's very complicated to use, but it is very, very good. Like I said, I cannot explain it fully because that would take too long. It's 5 different sections. I cannot speak about all 5 of them. So just know that you pretty much go from left to right, you know what I mean, in a sequential order. So you start with a compressor, you go into the limiter, then you go into a separate limiter here. And like I said, there's a README, a document that you can read that will give you all the information that you need to know. So let's test out the clipper to see how good it is. So let's try and put this track at 0 dB as is without any type of compression. So let's try that real. So if you look at it, I have my levels at about -4, so it's getting clipped at -4. So if we go back to 0, so this pretty much this protection knob is letting you know every time you get some sort of clipping going on. As you can see, you have the ceiling here, so I can set this to -1, and now it won't allow anything to go past. So whenever you see this light flashing, that means the signal is going over 0 and it's getting clipped. You know what I mean? Very, very simple. So moving on from that, we have lastly the Molat, and that is a compressor based off of the 670. If you're not familiar with the 670, it's a $10,000 hardware unit. Get familiar. So it's another little bit of a tricky plugin, but if you understand compressors, then you will understand how it works. I'm just going to go over the different parameters. I won't be doing any demo or explanation as far as what this does and all that. So you have a filter, you have attack, typical stuff, release, typical ratio. Every compressor has that. Knee, threshold, makeup gain, mix knob, so you can do parallel compression, up sample, and down sampling. Pretty much you can go up or down. And you have different modes. You have stereo, double mono, you have mid, you have side chain. So it's a very versatile free compressor. I mean, to me, this has more options than a lot of these compressors that these people are selling for so much money. Hopefully, as far as quality, I have not tested this yet. This is the first time that I'm opening these up. So hopefully, as far as quality goes, it is very good. But this was recommended to me by a very, very good master and engineer. So I will have no doubts that these are very good plugins. And that would be it. Links, as always, will be down below in the description. These are all drag and drop. They are for Mac and Windows. All links will be in the description. It's your boy, it's Beez, the Trackstar. Peace.